It's 1 a.m. I'm tired. I'm old, but TNA put on a hell of a show tonight. We got to talk about it. Leon Slater is taking the X Division to the next level. This WWE invasion, I don't know where it's going, but here we are. Let's talk about it.
Uh-oh.
Yes, boy!
French toast is the exchange student that you have like a 3-week affair with.
Fake. We can see that you don't have pants on.
Somebody hit somebody with a pie. Do something.
Giovanni yelling we're out of time as we go off the air.
Giovanni yelling a lot of things tonight.
And welcome to the Mark It Down podcast.
Hello, everybody. Welcome this now Saturday morning to the Mark It Down podcast, where we are here to cover... That's how tired I am. Although that might be more of a Freudian slip. TNA Victory Road. I'm James Gisanti. You know what happens when we cover TNA here at Mark It Down. We're in the gym pack zone. Guys, I'm not going to lie. I went into the show tonight a little cold. I didn't have a lot of energy for the show. I didn't have a lot of buzz for the show. We're so close to Bound for Glory in a few weeks. And it kind of felt obvious that this was going to be a filler show. It kind of felt like this was going to be a show just to keep momentum going just a little bit. Not a lot would happen. No world championship on the line, with all of the drama going on in the knockouts division regarding Masha Slamovich, what that was going to be. There was no defined knockouts world title match announced for the card because of Jeff Hardy's legal issues. We weren't going to get a tag team match for a tag team title match for this show. So I went into it thinking, all right, hopefully we could have some fun with it. And admittedly, I did have some fun with it. Unfortunately, there is some drama. There is, let's get into it. Let's get into it right out the gate. I'll cover the quick first opening match just to get through it, just because it didn't have that much of an impact on anything really. Impromptu, kind of decided in the pre-show we were going to get the System, Eddie Edwards, Brian Myers, and a returning JDC. Haven't seen him in a little bit since he was taken out by Order 4. Jason Hotch, John Schuyler, and I guess a debuting Agent Zero. I get it now. I was skeptical. I didn't see it. I didn't have the vision for it, but I get it now. He's a mountain of a man. He is a mountain of a man. Again, not much to this. We're going to see them go at it again in a few weeks, along with Moose and Mustafa Ali at Bound for Glory. And unlike Moose and Mustafa's match later on, this match didn't have any bearing on anything. The finish coming with a top rope dive leading to the 1-2-3, and the System getting the win. It was fine. It was fine. It was a nice way to get the show started, especially with what was coming next. We had Ash by Elegance, the TNA Knockouts World Champion, come out. She was going to address the state of the TNA Knockouts division and the TNA World Championship, and I didn't really have much of a grasp on that. I knew that things were up in the air because we were supposed to be getting Ash and Masha, but obviously there is a lot going on with Masha. Masha, guys, I'm going to spend 2 minutes talking about it because I haven't had time to talk about it here on the pod. Masha Slamovich, who is now facing allegations of abuse from a former relationship. A lot of text messages were released, statements made by her partner, or former partner, professional wrestler Akira. I'm a big fan. We'll see, a big fan of Masha Slamovich, the wrestler. I thought she was a credit to the TNA Knockouts division. But if these allegations are true, I would distance myself from her as far as possible, as fast as possible. it has already been declared that TNA is running an internal investigation into Masha and these allegations and everything that goes with it. We'll see where that leads, but that's as far as I want to talk about it now. I don't want to get into it with the show that we're here to speak about. We're here to talk about Victory Road, and other knockout stuff and unfortunate other knockout news. Ash came out and she was accompanied by Santino Marella and Carlos Silva. And Ash announced, regretfully to everybody, that due to some vague issues, she's going to have to step away from in-ring competition, and she's going to have to vacate the TNA Knockouts World Championship. This is a huge bummer. Love her or hate her or indifferent to her, it's impossible not to mark how hard she's been working to improve, to get to that world championship, to get to that knockouts title. She spent a long time in TNA working and putting herself in a position to be that knockouts champion, and finally to get there and to have that taken away is heartbreaking. Again, it was very vague. I don't know if it's because there's some mystery surrounding what she's dealing with, or she's just not ready to talk about it. But I don't know if this is permanent. I don't know if this is a retirement. I don't know if this is until she can get better. I'm sure more details are going to come out in the coming days, in the coming weeks. But what we do know at this moment is that, unfortunately, Ash by Elegance had to relinquish the TNA Knockouts Championship, and I'm just sad. I'm just sad for her. I know that the title reign was not going to be super long, but I had a feeling at the very least that she was going to have a prolific moment at Bound for Glory. Like, I didn't think she was dropping it to Masha tonight one way or the other. If the match had continued the way it was initially advertised, I didn't think that was what it was going to be. I thought she was going to drop the title probably to Indy Hartwell at Bound for Glory, and that would have made, that would have been a good moment for everybody. So you don't want to ever see a wrestler go down like this. I'm wishing her the best. I'm wishing her nothing but health and happiness. And if this is the end of Ash's in-ring career, obviously, I mean, she had a great run that just kept improving. A lot of people weren't thrilled with how she was brought up in WWE. They thought she came up from NXT too early. She was too green. And even if that was true, you could see the effort. You could see the work that was being put in to get better day in and day out. So nothing but respect for Ash by Elegance. And like I said, just whatever is next for her, wishing her the best. But moving forward, Santino and Carlos Silva still in the ring, still holding the Knockouts Championship that Ash left behind, announced some changes to the card due to this unfortunate situation. Number one being that the TNA Knockouts Tag Team title match that was supposed to happen tonight is now going to happen on Impact this upcoming Thursday. And in its place is going to be a Knockouts Battle Royal to determine the final, and with the final two competitors having a match for the Knockouts title later in the night. You could tell this was really just thrown together very quickly. You could tell that they were scrambling a little bit to have this match happen. Guys, give me one moment. You know how it is. When it's just me here in the Gym Pack Zone, I got to do everything by myself. I got to be with you guys. I got to talk about the show. And of course, I got to deal with social media. So just one moment. But as I was saying, you could tell that this was slapped together. And that's not a knock on any of the competitors. That's not a knock on any of the women. That's not a knock on the division. But you could tell that they were just doing what they could. 10 women in this battle royal that lasted less than 5 minutes, including Jody Threat, Danny Luna, Zaya Brookside, The Inspiration, the remaining members of the Elegance brand, Lei Ying Lee, Kalani Jordan, and somebody like I didn't know who it was. I've read that it's Lily Ruiz. I'm not familiar with her. I don't know. She got eliminated right out the gate. Like commentary didn't know who she was. I don't want to say embarrassing, but like she was doing a comedic bit, and I just don't know what happened there. When your commentary can't even identify you, like that sucks. Maybe she's from AAA, because again there was a little bit of a AAA representation in the night. We'll talk about that later, but the Inspiration tossed her to the floor really quickly. Jody Threat was clotheslined out by Danny Luna. Danny also eliminated Zaya Brookside. And then everyone ganged up on Danny Luna and eliminated her. This left the Inspiration and the Elegance brand, who have been feuding over the Knockouts tag titles. They teased eliminating each other until Lei Ying Lee and Kalani Jordan. NXT's Kalani Jordan, by the way. That's a very important detail that we'll talk about now a little bit later as we get into that matchup. They dumped all four of the women out of the ring. They're the final two, meaning that the Knockouts World Championship match later in the evening would be between Lei Ying Lee and Kalani Jordan. Again, very messy, very quick. I guess they just needed to work really quickly to get us through it. But yeah, that happened. That happened. Yeah, I feel bad for Ash. I really do. But anyway, moving on to the next match. We have another quick one, a tag team match between the Nemeth Bros, Nick and Ryan, versus Matt Cardona and the Hometown Man. This coming off of Impact last night, where Cardona was on commentary 2 weeks ago, where Cardona was on commentary during the tag team title match between the Nemeth Bros and the Hardys, and he had gotten involved. The crowd was fine. They didn't like the crowd was great all night, and they got into this matchup too. They chanted stuff like Chelsea's husband at Cardona. They were into the Hometown Man, but it was just, it was a quick tag team match. The finish coming after Ryan tried to tie up the Hometown Man with a sharpshooter, but Hometown Man countered it with a small package and got the pin. After the match, as Cardona and Hometown Man are celebrating, Nick Nemeth took Cardona out with a danger zone. Both Nemeth brothers then attacked the Hometown Man, took off his mask before Cardona covered him. Real babyface move there from Matt, loving that. And his identity continues to be a mystery, despite what Matt Raywald tried to say on commentary, that it was Cody Deaner. It's nonsense. But yeah, quick one, and I guess just like I said, kind of kicking the can until we get to Bound for Glory, where I'm assuming we're going to get a singles match between Cardona and Nemeth. Moving on, we then had Mike Santana versus NXT's Ridge Holland. More like Evolve's Ridge Holland at this point. But I digress. That is an issue for another day, another pod where it's not so late. This was another 8. It was the longest of the 3 matches so far, but it felt very quick simply because of how high octane it was. Santana and Holland just they sprinted through this matchup, showing that you can get a lot done in a short amount of time if you really work at it. The match starting with Santana making his entrance, cutting a very passionate promo on the outside of the arena, surrounded by fans. It was revealed that Ridge Holland made a deal with Trick Williams that if Holland took out Santana, Trick would give him a title shot. So that explains why Ridge attacked him on Impact. again, bell to bell, they were just fighting. They brought it out really quickly. The finish coming after hitting a discus lariat, 1, 2, 3, and Mike Santana gets the much needed big win. After the match, as Santana's celebrating, he is attacked by the TNA World Champion, NXT star Trick Williams. He runs into the ring, attacks him from behind. Santana's fighting him off, but he gets caught up by Ridge Holland. This allows Trick the opportunity to hit Santana with the TNA title. I get it. I get Trick needing to look big after the invasion that happened on Tuesday, but there had to be a better way of doing it. The crowd is super, super behind Mike. Like, it's obvious he's our heir apparent. He is our next world champion, and we want him to be our next world champion. But there's just something about the star power of Trick that it's impossible not to be engulfed in it. It's impossible not to be wrapped up in it. And Mike needed to look. There needed to be more heat after the invasion. We saw all, like, the TNA big names go into that ring on Tuesday, lay claim to NXT, lay claim to their independence and not wanting to be viewed as NXT's subordinate. And NXT needed to retaliate. And Trick should have had goons with him. He just should have. He should have had Mello. It should have been a lot of people. And it would have made this feel a little bit bigger. I don't know. I'm not complaining too much. Let's see how Bound for Glory goes in a couple of weeks. But things are heating up. We then go to a backstage segment where we're following up on something that happened earlier in the night in the pre-show, which was Matt Hardy being on First Class with AJ Francis. AJ had Matt on as a guest. There was obvious animosity, ending in a brawl, resulting in AJ chokeslamming Matt through a table. That set up for a match for later. This segment was Matt making sure that the medical team cleared him and didn't put up a fuss. We then go into an incredible matchup. And this should shock nobody because of the talent involved. But we had Mustafa Ali taking on Moose. And this match had big implications, as the winner of the match would gain the advantage for their team during the hardcore war that will be at Bound for Glory. This was just great. I cannot say enough. Both men hit everything they had. Everything they had. We had 450s. We had giant spears. We had go to hells. We had everything. These guys ripped chunks out of one another, and this was just a great matchup. Quite possibly the match of the night. It's tough. It's tough. There were some good matches tonight, but this might be up there. One of the big stipulations of the match was that Order 4 and the System were banned from ringside. Neither were allowed to get involved. Mustafa had dancers, though, that were sitting, that had done their shtick, their dance in the beginning of his match and during his entrance, and then they stayed up on the entrance ramp. The finish coming after both men having laid into one another, hitting their best shots at one another, kicking out of everything, the spear, the go to hell, 450 splash, everything. One of the dancers distracts the referee while another dancer, revealed to be Tasha Steelz, hits a low blow on Moose, giving Mustafa the ability to hit one final 450 splash, get the 1, 2, 3, and give himself an Order 4 the advantage going into Victory Road. I cannot say it enough. Great matchup. Really good. Stakes were just the right amount, and I'm really looking forward to the hardcore war at Bound for Glory. So bravo to everybody. And if you're going to watch a match from tonight, there are a few options, but this just might be it. Moving on, we then go to another match that was a little bit of the opposite. Joe Hendry versus Eric Young. Now, it had been revealed earlier in the night that Joe Hendry had been attacked backstage. We saw a clip of him on the floor in pain, and that left some question as to what was coming and if this match was going to happen. Quite frankly, I didn't think it was. I thought we were seeing that we're just definitely clearly transitioning Hendry out of TNA and into NXT. Eric Young comes out, cuts a promo saying that this isn't a goodbye. This was a cleansing. He's getting rid of Joe Hendry. And once he said his name, he did appear. And Joe Hendry showed up, valiantly fighting his attacker, Eric Young. The match itself was fine. It was quick. That's kind of been the recurring theme of the night. This match only at 11 minutes. By the way, Moose and Mustafa was the longest match of the night, but even that was only 12 minutes. So just a little crazy. Both men going back and forth, lots of counters, lots of holds, honestly, lots of rest holds. The finish coming with a little bit of cheating initially, that Eric Young had been gouging at the eyes, had been taking every dirty shot he could at Hendry, finally trying to go get a chair involved in the match before he is interrupted and stopped by his former proteges, his former Northern Armory teammates, Travis Williams and Judas Icarus. They grab the chair away from him. They distract him. They throw the chair in the ring, unbeknownst to Hendry, Young, or the referee. Hendry gets just the right opportunity to hit the standing ovation onto Young, onto the chair. 1, 2, 3. They did a great job of explaining, because the ref clearly saw it. Commentary does a great job of covering, saying that because Hendry did not introduce the chair into the match, Young did, and he didn't use it as a weapon. It was an incidental contact and no disqualification for Hendry. 1, 2, 3. Hendry gets a big win as his time in TNA is starting to dwindle. And I'm intrigued to see this feud between Young and his former proteges continue on. We then go to a table match between AJ Francis and Matt Hardy. Again, as I explained from earlier in the night. The match itself was way more brutal than I expected it to be. They did exactly what I expected them to, and that's lay the groundwork for what will be the tag team table match between the Hardys and Team 3D at Bound for Glory. Definitely showing us what to expect, what the rules are going to look like. You need to offensively put your opponent through a table. So, for example, if Matt went for an elbow drop from the top rope onto a downed AJ Francis who gets out of the way, and Matt goes through the table, that does not end the match. It does not count. It needs to be an offensive maneuver, like earlier when Francis chokeslammed Matt through the table, setting this whole thing up. We saw a lot of that throughout the night, throughout this matchup. Some defensive table spots. Nothing offensive until later. The finish of the match coming after Matt hits a gigantic side effect onto Francis from the top rope. Quite frankly, I thought this should have been the end of the match. Like, that felt like the table spot to go for. But ultimately, AJ Francis rolls out. Matt gets AJ onto a table on the outside. And then he had hit him with the championship belt, putting him on the table. And then he hits a leg drop from the top rope through the table. We got our winner, Matt Hardy, defeating AJ Francis. Again, another match, sub 10 minutes. I don't know. I don't know why. It could, like, you started your pay-per-view at 9 p.m., ending it at midnight. What are we doing, guys? Anyway. We then move on to our first title match of the night, our first of 3, as we finally have our Knockouts World Championship match, where Lei Ying Lee took on Kalani Jordan with special guest referee Indy Hartwell. Indy was supposed to be the special guest ref of the matchup between Masha and Ash. She stayed on for this matchup, and obviously the stakes are there. As it is expected, she's going to be going for the Knockouts World title at Bound for Glory. This was a great match. This was a good matchup. where I'm just really confused by the booking. Both women absolutely gave it their all. Lei Ying Li has been doing her best week in and week out to prove herself to the TNA audience, really establishing herself and just continuing to improve. And I thought that it would have been a great moment for her, even though I wasn't even thrilled she won the Battle Royal. She was just in the Call Your Shot Gauntlet Battle Royal. Call Your Shot Gauntlet Battle Royal matchup on Impact that she lost. And to see her go from that Battle Royal to winning this Battle Royal, I wasn't thrilled with it. But I was rooting for her. And Kalani Jordan is an incredible talent, the first ever NXT North American women's champion. Really, really strong talent. But I don't even know why she was in the match after Tuesday. Tuesday that saw TNA invade NXT and say, we do not belong to you. Why is the NXT talent even in a qualifier for a TNA championship right now? It didn't feel right. And it feels even more not right. It feels even more wrong that Kalani won the title. Again, it was a good match, a good back and forth match between these two women. Ultimately ending in a stunner from Kalani, leading to the split-legged moonsault from the top rope. 1, 2, 3. Our new Knockouts champion is NXT star Kalani Jordan. I don't get it. Again, not a knock on Kalani. Great talent. A credit to a title, but it completely goes against the story here, guys. I'm really, really confused. I know that TNA, and I said it before, was in a rough position given the fact that everything changed with Masha, with Ash, so much. But you couldn't throw the title on Dani Luna? Have her match against Indy Hartwell? I don't know. A lot didn't make sense here. But congratulations to new champion Kalani Jordan. Moving on to our second title match and our semi-main event of the night, the TNA International Championship on the line with Steve Maclin defending against Frankie Kazarian. Now, this match over-delivered, in my opinion. They've been really cooking a good feud between these two for a while, with Maclin being a fighting champion ever since becoming the inaugural champion, the inaugural holder of the International Championship. Great back and forth. Both men looked good. This feud had been heating up for weeks. The finish coming with Maclin getting distracted by El Macias, AAA talent, El Macias. That distraction on the outside allowed the referee to be dealing with that as Maclin gets back in the ring, or is trying to get back in the ring. He gets hooked on the rope by a low blow from Kazarian, kicking the rope into his groin, into his crotch. This then sets up for the slingshot cutter. 1, 2, 3. New international champion. Really fun match. Really strong match. I do question having Maclin lose right before Bound for Glory. I feel like this match should have happened at Bound for Glory. Maclin, who has been killing it as the international champion, deserves to be on the Bound for Glory card. And Kazarian, you can still have the same outcome with Kazarian winning. Kazarian deserves a big win on the Bound for Glory card because he's just constantly delivering for TNA. So I was a little surprised by this. Unless the plan is to have a AAA representative at Bound for Glory, and that's where we get this match between Maclin and El Macias. But yeah, I don't really get it. But good for Frankie. Great matchup. It really was good. I would go check this out. This Mustafa and the main event just were all incredible. But I gotta ask, what the hell happened to Frankie's Call Your Shot Gauntlet? He won it, and he never officially cashed it in, as far as I know. Just feels weird. He still says he's going to be the TNA World Champion. Maybe he's holding on to it. I don't know, but very, very weird. But now moving on to our main events. I said that this other match over-delivered. Hey Tyler, how you doing, man? What match was a terrible idea by TNA? Let me know. I'm not entirely sure. This match was long. The main event or Frankie versus Macklin? Let me know. But either way, thank you for being here tonight, pal. But this match, this main event, Leon Slater versus Myron Reed. Wow. Just absolutely wow. Two young, extremely talented young guys. Like I was saying before Tyler joined, I know I said that the international match over-delivered. This match had high expectations, and it still over-delivered. It was still incredible. These kids, I cannot... I know we don't call every spot of matches anymore here at the pod, but even if we did, I don't know that I could. They delivered. They were flying across the ring. They were doing such an incredible, magical job of just representing what the X division is for TNA. I know, first of all, it's 1:30 in the morning. I'm tired, but absolutely just incredible work. Leon Slater, the youngest ever TNA X Division champion, is proving why he was deserving of being in that spot. He's more than earned it, and these guys just absolutely put on a banger, an absolute banger. It's so clear that Slater is not just a star of the future, but he's a star now. And Myron Reed, who is, I don't want to say on shaky ground with TNA because that's not the right way of putting it, but he was not initially part of the picture in TNA. He was not one of the rascals that they signed. He came in as sort of a replacement, and he's more than proving that he belongs. This was a great showing, an incredible main event for these two guys. I wonder if this is their first singles main event of a pay-per-view. I'd have to imagine it was for both of them. The finish coming after Reed going for a superplex that Slater countered into a twisting superplex of his own. That then allowed Slater to hit his patented Swanton 450, 1, 2, 3, successful retention. If that wasn't enough excitement, though, after the match, TNA President Carlos Silva presented the X Division Championship to him, and Santino Marella comes out and says that it is time to celebrate, but he has been negotiating a big match for Slater for Bound for Glory. He's been doing it with Ava from NXT. His opponent will be Javon Evans of NXT. Javon Evans, who is an incredible young talent in his own right. These guys are going to put on quite possibly the match of the night at Bound for Glory. Two of the best of both divisions going head to head. Tyler saying, the Knockouts Championship, Kalani Jordan defeated Lei Ying Lee to win the vacant title. It was a terrible idea by TNA. I'm confused. I agree with you, Tyler. I don't really get what the thought process was after the invasion to even allow this to happen. Like, they didn't even say, like, how did Kalani get in the match? It was just, yeah, she's in the match. I think TNA did a terrible job of following up on the invasion from Tuesday. I don't know if that was due to WWE. I don't know if that was due to TNA. I don't know if this is something that's going to affect Bound for Glory. I have to imagine it is, because we're going to be having now 2 NXT stars at the minimum on the show, with Trick defending and now Kalani defending. We'll see, but it felt very, very, very weird. Either way, I want to celebrate the good stuff. This was an excellent main event. We had some great matchups in the International Championship and Moose versus Mustafa. Go check all 3 of those matches out. Check out the whole show. But guys, I'm exhausted and I've got a long, long day tomorrow. So thank you so much for joining me this Friday/Saturday. I really appreciate you guys. You know the deal. If you're new here, thank you for checking us out. Don't know what brought you here, but I hope you're willing to stay. Hit that subscribe button. Whether you're an oldie or a new guy, hit the like button. We love it. We appreciate it. It lets us know we're doing something right by you guys. Tyler saying he wants to see TNA Lockdown Lethal TNA versus NXT. That'd be great. I wouldn't be shocked if something gets brought, like maybe a War Games or something. Survivor Series is around the corner. So maybe we might see Raw versus SmackDown and NXT versus TNA. I don't know. But lots of possibilities. Guys, if you like this, like I said, hit that like button. Please subscribe if you haven't already. If you want to check us out in other places, we're all over social media. Facebook, Insta, X, Blue Sky, TikTok, all of them. But I am James Gisanti. I am very tired. I appreciate you. I love you guys. Have a great night, and I'll see you Dynamite later.